Sometimes you outgrow people. I felt the weight of those words like a cold gust in my chest, the echo of her voice still lingering as I stared at the pink unemployment notice on my kitchen counter. My fiancée had shared that line the moment I lost my job, as if my failure was a sentence she was delivering. I said nothing, just facts, because arguing would have been pointless. A week later, the world flipped. I walked into my new office, walls bathed in golden light, and the offer letter in my hand practically hums with opportunity. Twice the pay, leadership role, influence I'd only dreamed of. And there she was at the gala, champagne in hand, eyes widening, lips parting, as she spotted me laughing beside her cousin, my new boss, the architect of my rebound. The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was electric. My calm revenge had begun. I've always been the quiet type, the one who observes, calculates, and waits. Friends called me loyal. Lovers called me patient. My fiancée, though, she called it complacency. I wasn't oblivious. I had a knack for seeing people's edges, noticing when admiration was conditional or respect was performative. Growing up, my ideas were dismissed as daydreams, my ambitions underestimated. I learned early that silence could be sharper than words. When she and I first met, I gave her the kind of trust most people reserve for mirrors. She fit into my life so seamlessly. I didn't notice the cracks forming beneath her charm. I worked long hours, sacrificed weekends, carried burdens she never acknowledged. And yet, I was always the easy one, the fallback, the background. Losing my job didn't change me. It revealed her true colors. I never needed to shout to be noticed. I needed precision, patience, timing. And now, with my new job, my life humming with power I'd earned quietly, I realized the cruel irony. Those who once underestimated me were about to witness my transformation firsthand. Revenge doesn't need drama. It only needs leverage. At the gala, I felt her gaze before she spoke. A faint pause as our eyes met across the room. Long enough for her smile to falter, for the flicker of recognition to register. She hadn't expected me to arrive in tailored black, confident in a role she couldn't touch, a presence she couldn't intimidate. Her DMs pinged that night, short-clipped, venom barely disguised as concern. I didn't realize you'd be there with her. I didn't reply. The words themselves were laughable, a feeble attempt to reclaim control in a space she no longer owned. Every small betrayal flashed through my mind, the casual dismissals, the laughter at my struggles, the way she spoke over me in rooms where only my voice deserved attention. I let the memories settle, let the injustice simmer. When she approached me, pretending casual charm, I offered a polite nod. No warmth, no indulgence. The pause in my tone, the measured calm in my eyes, spoke volumes. She searched for irritation, for anger, but found only quiet satisfaction. The game had shifted. Every glance I returned was a subtle sting. Every word measured, deliberate. The room seemed smaller, tighter, and I, finally, occupied its center. The moment crystallized quietly. I was in my office the next morning, sunlight cutting through the blinds in sharp lines across the floor, the hum of the city below, and a message from her blinking on my phone. I didn't need to read it. I knew exactly what it would say. Half apology, half accusation, all pride. Enough was enough. I realized revenge wasn't a spectacle. It was precision. It didn't require anger or theatrics. It required presence, excellence, and timing. I looked around my new office, my name on the door, my team's respect, the projects that had once been dreams, now under my command, and felt a quiet satisfaction that no words could diminish. When she walked in later that day, hoping to test boundaries, I smiled politely, then returned to the task at hand. Every glance she gave me, every attempt at manipulation, bounced harmlessly off the armor I'd forged through hard work, patience, and resilience. For the first time, I understood. Outgrowing people isn't dramatic. It isn't loud. It's silent. It's being fully present in a life they cannot touch, thriving where they once thought they could define you. That realization alone was enough to tip the scales. I didn't rush. Revenge isn't chaos. It's strategy. I reviewed every interaction, every slight, every casual dismissal she had leveled at me, and mapped them against my new position. I knew the power of timing and optics, of subtle leverage that didn't scream but cut deep. Contracts, schedules, and meetings became instruments. I ensured my work was impeccable, visible to stakeholders, impossible to ignore. I built alliances quietly, colleagues and clients who respected competence over charm. Every decision I made reinforced my credibility, while highlighting her absence of judgment, her miscalculations, without me ever speaking a word against her. Even outside the office, I curated my life deliberately. Public appearances, social posts, and small gestures all reflected stability, confidence, and growth. Nothing flashy, just undeniable proof of the transformation she had underestimated. By the time I decided to act, the groundwork was complete. Every element, from professional recognition to personal composure, was aligned. The stage was set for her to see, finally, that the person she had dismissed, mocked, and taken for granted had evolved quietly into someone untouchable. Precision, not noise, would deliver the final act. The gala was the stage, though I never called attention to myself. I arrived with my boss, my confidant, my ally, my reward for patience, and moved through the room with a quiet confidence that drew notice without effort. Her eyes found me almost immediately, widening as recognition collided with disbelief. Her DM buzzed mid-event. "Is that really her? With you?" I smiled at the message, not replying. Silence carried weight. It always had. Every whispered comment, every sidelong glance she caught, reinforced the truth she couldn't deny. I had grown, evolved, and succeeded in ways she could neither influence nor undo. Later across the room she tried to speak, attempting casual charm, but my calm nod and measured tone dismantled her carefully constructed bravado. No raised voices, no accusations, just presence. That was the point. By the time I left, the room had shifted. Conversations paused at my approach, respect and curiosity trailing behind me. Her frustration and awe were visible in the subtle slump of her shoulders, the hesitant way she avoided my gaze. I didn't gloat. I simply walked away, leaving the consequences to settle naturally, letting the quiet satisfaction of my earned transformation speak louder than any words ever could. By the following week, the ripple had settled. Colleagues approached with renewed respect, offering congratulations not for drama, but for mastery, competence, composure, and vision. The whispers weren't about scandal, they were about transformation. People noticed growth, and mine was undeniable. She, on the other hand, became a study in quiet defeat. Every casual smile she offered was tempered by the memory of the gala, the unspoken proof that she had underestimated me. Mutual friends, once loyal to her narratives, began treating her with polite distance, acknowledging, subtly, that the balance of power had shifted. I watched from the sidelines, detached yet satisfied. Reputation, once fragile under her scrutiny, now carried weight earned in silence. My self-worth, long tethered to her approval, was untouchable, anchored in achievements she could never diminish. The audience should care because this isn't just about revenge. It's about the quiet evolution of someone underestimated, ignored, or dismissed. It's about proving that dignity and patience often outweigh confrontation, and that real power lies in being unshakably present. Growing beyond those who try to define your limits. I never sought to humiliate her. The victory wasn't in her shock, it was in my own evolution. I learned that outgrowing someone isn't a dramatic confrontation, it's a quiet mastery of your own life. A steady accumulation of confidence, competence, and clarity. Every late night, every careful decision, every ounce of patience had been my ally, and the reward was deeper than any fleeting triumph. The future feels unshakable. I focus on projects that challenge me, relationships that respect me, and spaces that value my presence. My work, my personal growth, and the calm authority I now carry are proof that self-respect is more potent than resentment, and timing more powerful than impulse. Occasionally, I catch glimpses of her in the crowd, a shadow of recognition passing over her expression. I feel nothing but quiet satisfaction. Life moves forward, and I am no longer tethered to those who underestimated me. I've learned that true revenge isn't loud. It isn't immediate. It's growth, patience, and inevitability. And sometimes the most devastating thing you can do for those who doubted you is simply live well. The world notices when you outgrow people, but you only feel it when you finally do.